So imagine trying to sell, I don't know, a really sophisticated, complex vintage wine.
Right, like a high-end Bordeaux or something.
Yeah, exactly. But instead of, a quiet tasting room, you just slap up this massive, flashing, roadside neon billboard that literally screams, "Get de-drunk, quick!"
Yeah, that would be pretty jarring.
Right. Well, welcome to today's deep dive,
Right.
because we are looking at a stack of promotional headlines for a premium HBO series called DTF. And honestly, it is exactly like that billboard. So, okay, let's unpack this. How are these headlines just totally abandoning prestige TV marketing?
Well, our sources show they are heavily mimicking what's called the extrapolated style.
Oh, the Danish tabloid
Yeah.
gourmet,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's notoriously sensationalist, and they are explicitly leaning into this AI sensationalized phrasing. The goal isn't to tease a narrative arc or showcase the beautiful cinematography or anything like that.
No, it's just about the hook.
Right. It's meant to hack your attention span in actual milliseconds by optimizing for the most extreme vocabulary possible.
You can really see that algorithm hacking influence, too.
Hmm.
Especially in how they manipulate these primal triggers. Take this one headline we have here. It says, "Married, Horny, and Dead, the new HBO bombshell everyone is talking about."
Wow. Yeah, that phrasing basically acts like a psychological lockpick.
A lockpick. How so?
Well, by stacking words related to reproduction and mortality right next to each other, the text is deliberately triggering the amygdala, your brain's threat and arousal center.
Oh, wow. So it's basically a biological reaction.
Totally. Before your prefrontal cortex can even step in to evaluate if this is a quality show, your nervous system has already logged a mild cortisol spike. It just bypasses your logic filters entirely.
That is wild, but I mean, are modern audiences genuinely still falling for this level of hyperbole? Because look at another headline in the stack. You have no idea what happens in this new HBO series wilder than anything you have seen.
Right, it sounds almost ridiculous.
Yeah, we all know how clickbait works by now. My read on this is that the over-the-top exaggeration might actually be a meta joke. HBO knows it's absurd, but they are doing it ironically to match the show's dark comedy vibe.
That makes a lot of sense. And that meta-irony angle is actually a much more sophisticated retention mechanic than just tricking someone into clicking.
Because it feels like an inside joke.
Exactly. By giving you, the audience, a knowing wink, the marketers make you feel like an insider. You aren't being manipulated, you are complicit in the joke.
Ah, and that feeling of shared irony lowers your defensive barriers against the marketing.
Yep, you totally let your guard down.
And then once they had bypassed those defenses, they pivot hard. They weaponize the actual plot details to manufacture this huge sense of high-stakes doom.
Right, especially with the tech element.
Yes, they take the core technology in the show, which is an app called DTF, and elevate it to a catastrophic threat level. The headline is, "The DTF app ruined everything. See what happened to the three married people."
They are framing a piece of software like it's an existential danger.
Exactly.
And then throwing in the celebrity bait anchors, that existential dread to a really familiar face, like the one that says, Jason Bateman in a love triangle that ends in death, you will never guess who.
I mean, it's so dramatic.
It really is, but what's fascinating here is the cognitive friction they are generating. They're basically cannibalizing their own prestige brand. HBO is known for nuanced storytelling, but here, the actual genre of the show is completely swallowed up.
Right. One of the final headlines calls it HBO's darkest comedy ever, adding, "This is sick." They're aggressively overshadowing the word comedy with true crime terminology.
Yeah, words like sick and death.
The humor takes a total backseat to the horror.
Well, that's because comedy triggers endorphins,
Yeah.
right? Which is a slow burn cognitive reward. True crime framing triggers that immediate cortisol rush we talked about earlier.
So they're betting that the primal anxiety of infidelity and fatal tech paranoia will convert a scroller into a viewer way faster than the promise of a clever joke. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, just trying to figure out what to watch on a Friday night? It shows that the battle for your eyeballs is so fierce that even a premium network feels forced to use lowest common denominator tactics.
Just to cut through the absolute noise of the attention economy. Nuance is being completely sacrificed for pure sensation.
Even when the product itself is highly nuanced. Which leaves us with a final thought to mull over. If a sophisticated dark comedy must be marketed to you as a sick and fatal tragedy just to get you to click, what does that actually say about our own rapidly escalating threshold for entertainment?
That's a really great question.
Right. Have we become so numb that we genuinely need that flashing neon billboard just to notice the vintage wine?